I think we get started. 3:15 was the go time, so let's just do it. My name is Eric Giroux, Director of Product Management for DealerSocket. Build websites, been doing that for a long time. We're going to talk about the future of the automotive industry today. But before we get started, two things. First, gratitude. Do appreciate you coming here. I've been going to these conferences for about a decade now. Never in my life have I ever attended a session this late in the day on the last day. They've actually ripped down the exhibit hall, and you're still here. So you deserve a round of applause for that from me. Please don't clap. But thanks for being here. Really appreciate that. Second thing, a bit of good news for you who did decide to come to my session. As you may have deduced by now, no slides. Okay? Massive departure from the status quo, what you're used to. We've got no AV. It's just me. So we're going keynote style today. I hope that will be a little bit of a refreshing twist from what you're used to. Without further ado, here it is, my three things that I learned about the future of the automotive industry from a mattress. So I did it. I pulled the trigger. I bought a mattress from a company that I had never heard of, and it arrived in a box at my doorstep. I didn't know anyone who owned one. I had never touched it. I had never laid on one. And prior to purchasing, I didn't talk to a salesperson to convince me of its superior features. I just got online and bought it. It appears they determined they were in the wrong room. So there was a switch up. Trust me, if you thought you wanted the other one, you made the right call by staying put. They're going to be regretting that. So I just got online and I bought this mattress. Didn't know anybody who had one. Didn't talk to no one. Months later, I couldn't be more overjoyed and thrilled with this purchase. So overjoyed, in fact, it's gotten maybe a bit weird. Every time somebody comes over to my house, I awkwardly invite them to lay on my bed so they can experience the intensely unique comfort that this mattress provides. And I ask them to guess how much I paid for this thing. And then I belabor my enthusiasm by carrying on about how easy it was to buy, how I never get hot at night anymore, how my wife's back pain is gone, and how I could return it for free even after 100 days of sleeping on it, but never would. So at this point, you're probably wondering or saying to yourself, cool story, bro, but what does this have to do with the automotive industry? First of all, it's a device, it's an attention getter, and it creates an overarching theme that I will plug all my points into. Secondly, here comes the segue. A mattress purchase, I say, is really quite similar to a vehicle purchase. How? Well, I would contend that all of the following are true of both a mattress purchase and a vehicle purchase. Number one, it's expensive. Mattress not so much as a car, but expensive enough to give you pause, to get you to want to consider alternatives available. So one, it costs a lot of money. Two, you're likely going to own it for years. Most people own mattresses longer than they own cars. But it's something you're going to be stuck with, right, for a while. And three, it's personal. What is right for one person, what's right for you, may not be right for another. So any product that meets the above criteria is something that you're going to want to be absolutely sure that you're going to love, right? Because you're going to spend a lot of money, you're going to have it for a long time, and what's right for you, or one, might not be right for another. So thus, it would make sense that you would want to see, feel, smell, experience the product prior to making that purchase plunge. And I would even go so far as to contend that this is even more true of a mattress than a car, because a car, I might think it looks sexy. I might like the badge on the car. I might like the fact that it's all electric, or it provides the utility that I know that it provides without even me needing to test drive it, right? But with a mattress, it's all about just how it feels. So, of course, I'm going to want to experience that before I purchase it. So in order to allow for this assumed to be imperative experiential purchase process, what do traditional mattress retailers do? They do two things. One, they spend a boatload of money setting up distribution centers. We all have seen Sleep Number right, locations, franchises in strip malls, et cetera. So that's one option. They have franchise distribution centers. The second is they wholesale their mattresses to Nebraska Furniture Mart or wherever else. So, at wholesale cost, Mattress Firm, Mattress Hub, whatever you got. And they sell at a much lower margin so that people can go in and they sit on it and they lay down and they say, okay, this is the one for me. So those are the two options. And both of those options, either franchising or wholesaling, create this middleman, and both of those options inflate the mattress price for the end consumer. Yes, that is an inflatable mattress pun. To offset the overhead and to generate additional... Thank you, sir. Thanks. I got more puns coming, so if you like that, we're just getting started. So they have to inflate the mattress price to create additional profit for these middlemen. And at the end of it all, especially in the case of a mattress, not so much for a car, but at the end of it all, the customer is actually paying more for the ability to test drive the mattress than they are for the mattress itself. The mattress might only cost a few $100s to manufacture. You might spend a few $1,000s on the mattress because of the extraordinary expense of wholesaling or setting up distribution centers. But then, disruption. Ads for mattress startups started popping up everywhere on Instagram, Facebook. Maybe you guys have seen some of these. Casper, Tuft & Needle, Lisa, Bear, and more. And just a few years later, these startups are being purchased by major mattress manufacturers left and right. Direct-to-consumer mattress companies are generating more profits, selling products at lower costs, and creating raving fan bases, myself included. Traditional mattress manufacturers were once, check this out, living the dream, but now face the rude awakening that is the nightmare of evolve or die. That's 3 mattress puns, 1 sentence. Try to keep up. Thank you. So, how did the new kids on the block do it? How did direct-to-consumer mattress retailers overcome the assumed necessary experiential purchase process to get millions of sleepers to place trust in a mattress to the degree that they were comfortable purchasing online sight unseen? Well, I've identified 3 things that all successful direct-to-consumer mattress retailers and manufacturers do that can and should also be done by any progressive and future-proofed automotive dealership. And when I say successful, I'm thinking of one company in particular. That company booked $170 million in revenue in their first 5 years in business and then got purchased by CERTA for an undisclosed amount. But these guys are sleeping well. There's pun number 5. So here are the 3 things. 1, they explain why their non-traditional purchase process is actually advantageous for the consumer. We'll dissect these more in a second here, but they explain why their purchase process is better. Not their product, but their process. 2, they offer a 100% money-back guarantee. And 3, they show you 150,000, seriously, consumer reviews that say it's great. So let's break those 3 down. Here it is, your easy as 1, 2, 3 guide to getting your customers comfortable with buying cars online. Step 1, explain the advantages of your buying process. So know what this doesn't mean is we're family owned and operated, have been serving your local community for the past 40 years. It also doesn't mean we're the number 1 dealer in whatever community or whatever state for the past whatever years, and it definitely doesn't mean now you've got a friend in the car business. Of course, value statements like that do serve some purpose, but these don't help your customers build preference towards buying a car in a new way, online, sight unseen, without coming into the dealership first. The new age dealership value statement will be something along the lines of, look, buying a car from us is a unique and different experience. They get that out in front. And they say, although it may seem unfamiliar now, it is only through this unfamiliar and new age experience that you gain several distinct advantages. So again, we're talking about the process not of the product, not of the people. Remember, the point is objectively to illustrate the comparative advantages of a next generation or online buying process, not offer a subjective, cheesy value statement about how you're a dealer people can trust. Look to our example of the modernized mattress retailer. They told me in a 90-second video about how I'm able to save a bunch of money by purchasing online direct from the manufacturer, and this made a lot of sense to me. Because I was able to cut out the middleman. I was able to save money while the manufacturer enjoyed a fair profit. And the proof is in the price. My mattress is easily half the price of anything that I could purchase in store, and of better quality than anything I've had in the past. And the caveat here is this save money by cutting out the middleman approach doesn't really work for franchise car dealership, although I believe in this room we have predominantly independent car dealerships here, so there's good opportunity here. But franchise car dealerships are kind of that middleman that the mattress retailers are cutting out. But there are still several additional benefits that are equally enticing and similarly objectively will make sense to customers if you're asking them to make this purchase plunge sight unseen. So here's some examples, some ones that you can mull over, jot down, think about on the flight home as to how you might want to brand your buying process should you decide that you want to advertise, I'll let you finalize a deal remotely, or I'll let you purchase out of state and deliver cars to you. If you want that to become part of your value statement, part of what you do at your dealership, here are some value statements that you can consider. Now, I will pause and say these examples and these value statements do assume that you will make a change in that process if you don't already have one, and most likely you would do that by utilizing, at least to some degree, a digital retailing software that would allow your consumers to either complete or at least begin a purchase process online. So with that in mind, some of those value statements could be, we will deliver the vehicle to you for a test drive. You can get an exact price, including taxes and fees, online without ever stepping foot into our store. And consider that a pretty staunch difference to the traditional message that dealerships give to customers, which is just come in, right? Hey, can I get an exact out-the-door price of this vehicle? Just need you to come in. Gonna need you to come in. Well, if you can break down that barrier and establish trust by saying, I'll give you an exact out-the-door price, taxes and fees included, without coming into the store, that builds trust, increases transparency. How about eliminate paperwork and hours of waiting at the dealership? Some of the things that customers are most afraid of, the stigma assigned to car dealerships, paperwork, time inside the dealership. Eliminate that time by structuring your deal online or remotely ahead of time. No haggling necessary. If you're a one-price store or wanted to go in that direction, you could tout that. Our vehicles are priced fairly at our lowest possible price. And segue into my next point, we offer a X 7-day money-back guarantee. No risk in buying this vehicle online. Had you not test drove it prior to. If you don't love it, we'll come get it, no charge. I'll go off script here for a second, and you probably are all aware of, Carvana, BP now closed, but some of these disruptors, the digital disruptors that are offering direct-to-consumer sales with no physical dealership locations, they're mimicking what these mattress retailers are doing by saying, yeah, we'll deliver it to you. You'll never touch it until you own it, but if you have problems with it, you can return it for every penny back within 7 days. So they've definitely taken that cue from the mattress retailing firms and are offering money-back guarantees. But before I segue into that point and stress the importance of that, I do want to note that dealerships of the future will, like next-generation mattress manufacturers, be able to articulate the achievement of cost savings that will benefit and be passed on to their customers. What do I mean by that? The mattress manufacturer, I was sold, they're saying, we've got a super high quality product here. We're asking you to make a purchase plunge if you buy it online without sitting on it first. But when you do that, you're going to save a bunch of money because we're not paying for that intermediary. And so what I'm saying is you can also articulate that same value statement to say, our process is predominantly online, or it is so efficient that we actually reduce our own operational overhead to create efficiencies and cost savings that we can offer or pass on to you. That was, and as these efficiencies become more industry standard, let's say, and they will, you're seeing digital retailing solutions being approved by manufacturers, being baked into major manufacturers' processes, being integrated from tier 1 websites down to tier 3 websites on the franchise side. But as they become more industry standard, the resultant cost savings from those operational efficiencies will be passed on to customers in order to remain competitive in the market. And that, once everybody is doing that, right, and we're talking 10, 15 years down the line, we'll reach what we call Nash equilibrium. You've maybe heard this or heard about this in an early 2000s film called A Beautiful Mind, starring Russell Crowe and directed by Ron Howard. Great film, kinda, not really, but it's talking more about mental illness than Nash equilibrium. So pro tip, if you want to learn about that and how gas prices all are set, go ahead and just Wikipedia Nash equilibrium. They do a better job of explaining what it is than Ron Howard does in that film. So what I'm saying is we're still before our industry reaches this said equilibrium, I say we're about 10 or 15 years out. The dealership that actually, progressively commits to these practices and digital processes, realizes enhanced profit margin and reduces prices for consumers, and advertises how they're saving their customers money by doing these things, is going to win and is going to enjoy above average returns in our industry until the rest of the industry kind of catches up. I wanted to make sure I got a chug for the portrait there. So that's step one, okay? Advertise why your process is different. Generate value statements about how the way you sell cars is advantageous versus the cars that you sell, the people at your dealership, the legacy of your dealership. Again, those value statements, A-okay, but I'm saying into tomorrow, these are the types of value statements, the differentiators, that are going to get more consideration from the modern and younger buying generation. Step two, we've already touched on it, offer a money-back guarantee. I understand this is super tricky. I understand you can't just go home, wave a magic wand, and put this into effect, but I think it's something you should give strong consideration to, especially if you're going to start trying to sell to people more and more out of state or sight unseen. So this one I think is pretty simple as to how powerful it can be, because people may have a change of heart. They may not like their purchase as much as they thought they would. It may not fit in their garage. Their partner may hate it. Whatever it is, anyone who buys anything online wants peace of mind to know there's no risk. There's no commitment. They want to be able to bet on the blackjack hand, Vegas analogy here, and see the cards and then be able to take their money off the table if they don't see the two face cards they were hoping to. So the money back guarantee, however, does something else besides simply offer that peace of mind and relaxed buying environment. It signals to the customer that you, the dealer, have faith and are willing to bet your own money and some expense that the customer will be satisfied with their purchase. Think of it in the reverse situation, whereas if somebody were to ask, hey, if I don't like it, I'm kind of making a plunge here, my wife's out of town, I want to buy this, but what if she hates it? Is there any way I can bring it back? And you just said, nope, sorry, man, you're stuck with it. What does that say to the customer? It says, I'm almost certain, or I have a high probability of guessing that you're going to be dissatisfied with your purchase, so much so that I will accept no liability if you are. Anyways, go ahead and sign here. So, of course, that's a major turnoff. That's not going to get anybody to establish trust with you in making that purchase. So you should be able to hang your hat on that money-back guarantee as seldom as that may be used. So money-back guarantees do two things. They allow customers to overcome the natural trepidations of spending money on something they've never seen, touched, or felt before. And 2, they signal to the customer that you're honest about the vehicle's condition and you're confident your customer is going to be satisfied. Okay, we're through 2. You guys are doing great. No audio, visual stuff going on here, but we're almost to the money maker here. Step 3. And this one, again, is going to be familiar. I think this is one that, as far as action items you can take home, I think you can really mold this one over as well without making huge departures from your existing processes. This is a fun one. Step 3, build buyer confidence with testimonials and interviews. Okay, I know that you know to get reviews. I'm sure you've had a lot of people tell you that you want that 5-star rating when people Google you or find you on Yelp or search for you on Apple Maps, whatever. And yeah, that current strategy of yours, which I presume is something like get a bunch of 5-star reviews across a bunch of different ratings vendors, is really good for getting you considered. Right? If I see somebody with a 4 or 5-star rating, I'm like, hey, this is a decent place. I should consider doing business with this place. Granted, if they have a 2-star review, it's like, I'm not even going to consider them. But the real magic that's going to take a customer from consideration to conversion or to purchase, especially sight unseen, is when you weave those customer stories into your overall pitch and proposition. So let's build on our aforementioned value statement, and it evolves into something like this. It is only through our efficient buying process that you gain several distinct advantages that save you time and money, whatever those are, whatever you decide you want to, consider one of your new process differentiators. In fact, we're so confident that you're going to love the way you buy your car and you're going to love the vehicle that you receive that we'll refund 100% of your money, blah, 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 if you change your mind for any reason. And then this is where the social validation comes into place. Don't take our word for it. Just listen to the testimony of hundreds or thousands of customers who rave about our transparent and simple, risk-free purchase process. So when we talk about social proof, this doesn't mean what a lot of dealers interpret it to mean, which is take a picture of people at delivery and post it to Facebook. Hey, the Johnsons just bought a car from us. Here they are driving away. Of course, that does something. It gives some notoriety. But again, that doesn't do anything from taking people that are evaluating your dealership online and getting them more comfortable with making a purchase. What it means instead of that, what you might consider, traditional means of using social media to sell cars, it means instead to sit down with customers, whip out the iPhone, and interview them for 3 minutes. How did you find us? Did you have any reservations about buying your car in this new age manner? Tell us about what made you decide to pull the trigger when you purchased your car before you came to the dealership. What would you tell someone who is weighing the decision to buy a car from a traditional dealership versus a new age, next generation dealership like ours? So you're giving them these leading questions, assuming they did purchase through a more efficient buying process or they got prices, taxes, everything locked down prior to entering the store. You really want to talk to them about that part of their process. Not like, hey, it was great working with Jeff, super nice guy. He coaches my daughter's friend's softball team. It's more about why did you buy using this process, and why did this process make your buying experience better than when you've purchased at other dealerships in the past. So finally, and this is the oversight and mistake that a lot of dealers make, dramatic pause, you need to put those customer stories and those testimonials in high visibility areas on your website. So a lot of times you'll see people just have a testimonials page on their website, assuming that somebody is going to go out of their way to see, I wonder what other people have to say about this dealership. So my contention and what I would ask you to ask yourself, a little gut check, is does your dealership have your customer reviews listed on the most high visibility pages on your website. Those are inventory pages. Do you have it on your search results page, your inventory listings page, your vehicle details page? This is where your prospective buyers are spending most of their time on your website and where they're making those micro decisions about if and what they're going to buy. So on those pages, you should make it overtly obvious as they're low funnel, they're actually down to a single VIN, a piece of inventory, that if they decide to buy, it will be simple, risk-free, and that tons of other people have purchased in that manner and are happier as a result of doing business with you in that non-traditional manner. So, tying it together here, what did my mattress in a box teach me about the future of the automotive industry? It taught me that people will buy large and expensive products sight unseen, even products that we once thought had to be experienced prior to purchase. It taught me that in order for people to take that purchase plunge on items like mattresses or cars, they need to be convinced of three things. One, buying it online or digitally or through a new age process will offer them some comparative advantage versus a traditional buying process. Two, there's no risk in taking that purchase plunge and that the retailer is willing to bet their own money that the product's quality and customer satisfaction by offering that guarantee. And three, that anyone who has taken that purchase plunge, buying sight unseen, now advocates for that process, product, and the way in which they bought it. So in 10 to 15 years, I contend you will be hard-pressed to find a successful dealership that is not using software to power the purchase experience for their customers. Today, there's an opportunity for dealerships and even manufacturers to take a shortcut ahead of the competition, ahead of the market, and recognize these above-average returns by leveraging digital retailing softwares to reduce transactional overhead, the cost that it takes to actually sell a car, while increasing your operational efficiencies, making it easier for your staff and customers alike. And as you as dealers take strides towards becoming a dealership of the future, learn from industries who are quickly advancing down this path. Truthfully, I don't believe there's any better way to convince yourself of these learning lessons that I'm trying to beat you over the head with than to walk down the path yourself. How? Go and buy one of these mattresses online. You can get them from Amazon, just Casper, Tuft & Needle, whatever. Why not? You save time, you save money, you're going to love it like millions of other people, and hey, what's the risk? If you don't like it, then you can just return it after 100 days for all of your money back without ever leaving your home. How do you say no to that? You can't. And neither will your customers be able to say no to you when you make these digital retailing best practices an integral part of your culture and online presence. That's what I've got for you. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Happy to answer questions if you guys want to stick around. Took about 30 minutes, so we got some time. Thanks. Go ahead. I'll repeat it. Good question about mattress specifically. How do you go back into the box? So you don't. They super compressed and flattened, rolled up in a box, and once you snip that plastic, they inflate, and they're that big forevermore. The way you return it is they'll come and pick it up for you. The way that my mattress manufacturer stole my heart, because I had the same question. So I was like, this sounds like a pain in my ass to return this thing. I read about it, and they said that, hey, it's actually expensive for us to come get this, return it, blah, 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 repackage it. So what we'll do if you do decide to return it is we'll donate it to a local charity. And I was like, oh, wow, now they're covering all bases. And now I just feel bad. And anyways, yeah, you don't compress it. You just donate it to charity, or they'll pick it up and sell it to somebody else. What do you guys? What's that? No, you're not going to donate. You're not going to donate. But I am curious to know, I worked at a dealership group about 7 years ago. Anybody here offer a money-back guarantee or anything like this? No? I know one guy in the Kansas City area that's offering 24 hours. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm curious to know the fundamentals of that. Do they just keep the car insured and not actually sign the title over for that? Yeah, the period of time. I mean, when I worked at the dealership, we would use that as a sales tool. We'd say, drive it home, right? Like just take it home, see how it looks in the driveway, see if it fits in the garage, come on back tomorrow. So they're effectively doing that. They're giving the keys to somebody and then, using that as a soft close.
I just wonder, all these things are really sexy ideas, and they're very compelling. And historically, people who have been around for a while look at this and go, I had conversations like that when I was a kid. Somebody said, we're going to do such, in 20 years, you're going to see this and that and the other thing. You're going to see somebody selling a mattress, delivered to your door. You aren't even going to leave your house, blah, blah, blah. And everybody said, that ain't happening. Nobody's ever going to buy a mattress that way. You got to go sit on it. You got to feel it. And then here it is. But the thing that hasn't been proven yet is what happens when the culture starts developing that as an expectation. Now that's the new normal. And now you have a whole group of people who are obeying the national. They're behaving just like strategists in a non-cooperative game who think that you're not going to change your behavior. They're going to change theirs. So they're going to start buying mattresses and use them for 100 days and return them because that's just the way you do it.
Right. I mean, so I obviously researched this a bit and found some people will buy 2 or 3 of these mattresses that have guarantees, try them out each for 2-3 weeks, and then return 2. It's the same with any retail industry that offers returns in that you have to budget for it. We don't know what the operational cost of returns is in automotive yet, but the equilibrium will rise, right? You assume very small rate of return, and you budget for that and bake it into the price. Everybody pays a little bit more for that ability to return. Zappos, good example. Right, and again, this is still far less expensive in the case of mattress manufacturers than setting up distribution centers or selling at wholesale. So they'll take that loss on some. Automotive dealerships is different because you tomorrow go home and offer some of these, these advantages to customers. You don't realize immediate savings. So I'm kind of future tripping here, hence the title of the presentation, that if you were to have a process that truly was so efficient that sold you more cars, reduced consumer apprehension to buy online, got you to sell cars online, you would get more sales, you would get higher margin, you could have theoretically less staff in order to complete the same or more amount of transactions, but you're not going to realize that right overnight. So that's why you have to kind of dip your toe into the water by first step, trying out digital retailing solutions, trying to increase transparency and trust by offering prices sight unseen. That's a big one for customers. I obviously work in the software side of the business, do a lot of research on what consumers are expecting here, and the big one is price. You say $29,995 for that 2016, the $24,000 2016 TLX, great deal. But you tell them that price. Everybody knows as a consumer of in the automotive space, that's not the price. It's like a notion of a price. I have no idea what I'm actually going to spend. I don't know what my payment's going to be. I don't know what taxes are. I don't even know what titling is, right? Like people don't understand this stuff outside of the business. And so if you can help increase transparency and educate customers what those additional costs are, why you have them, and what their price and payment is going to be, I think that's step one. So that's just positioning yourself differently because you can start putting that into marketing communication. I give you an out-the-door price inclusive of taxes and fees. Ask another dealership to do that before you come into the store. You won't. Even if you just say that, people are going to say, I like this one, right? Because they're telling me how confident they are in their prices, and other dealers won't, because the current environment is just get them in, right? And so if you say, I won't bulldog you into coming into my store to start a purchase or to have a real conversation about numbers, then you can build trust. And I think that's kind of maybe one of the first steps in trying to establish these types of processes in our industry.
So you were a dealer stocker, right?
That's correct.
So a lot of these things you talk about, like have access to the total price, right on your website, or even through review videos in high traffic areas, something like that. A lot of those things are things most website providers can't provide. Some dealer stocker has the ability to make happen for you.
Yeah. So I'm the director of software product for Dealer Fire. Dealer Fire is the website and digital marketing arm for Dealer Socket. And, this is what I do, what I've been dreaming up for years. And so, yeah, we do have a digital retailing tool called Precise Price, does taxes, fees, aftermarket products, back-end protections, all the ones that you sell, payment protection, whatever. All of those things can be kind of configured right online, so you can get that really penny perfect price. That integrates then with our desking software, so that if you structure a deal online, send that in, and then when they come into the store, you've got a write-up that's all done. And so the price that they got online actually is the one that they would have gotten if they were sitting with the F&I manager desking the deal. So that's kind of the first one. And then the other would be, we got lots of different ways to merchandise your testimonials all over your website. It's just kind of the brand of testimonial, whether it's like a customer story versus, it was great working with Jose, whatever. But yeah. And I would say most web providers are going to give you at least that ability to merchandise your testimonials better. I think regardless of, like, if you do, what? Yeah. Right, yeah. But, that's one you can do straight away. Even if you don't change any process, you don't do anything, you can just know that people are big on social proof. If you shop online on Amazon, you're looking for the stars. Before you click into any product detail page, which one has a 4-star rating or above? It's the same thing with dealerships and vehicles, etc. They want to know that it's okay, that others are going to vouch for doing business with you. So again, don't hide them in the testimonials section. Put them top of mind. We sell hundreds of cars, and everybody's happy with it. And then ask for that from people and try to get those customer stories. It's just like if I'm trying to sell you software, you're probably going to be like, can you give me a number to a dealership that's using it and is having success with it? It's the same shit, right? But we lose sight of that, I think. But yeah. Thanks. Really appreciate it, guys. I know you had a lot of choices when you come to these things. Thanks very much. Hope it was of value to you. Enjoy the rest of your time in Vegas. Yeah. Thanks a lot, man.